Hey everyone, Rhonda Allison here. I have Renee McLaughlin with me this afternoon or today, whenever you're watching this. And I invited Renee to share some of her expertise with us. She is a health and fitness professional for 30 plus years, and she's a Master of Science degree in natural health. She has developed an optimal weight management coaching system. She's very passionate about helping people. And when I got started in our company, I knew that, when I bring my talents to the table and I find someone that has different talents, it's so much fun to combine those expertises. So, I really searched out for Renee, and I've worked with her a few years ago and knew of her and knew her a little bit. But when I reached out to her about our product line, I had no idea, if she would have interest or not. And so, Renee, I'd love for you to share really from your expertise. And I don't think that I would have been able to bring you on board had we had just everyday, normal, average supplements, because I know you've seen a lot and you've done a lot. But we had something really special on our hands that really had never been done before. And your expertise has been around blood sugar balance for many years. And I'd love for you to share some of your knowledge about that and why this product's so important.
Oh, Rhonda, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here because, as you said, this is truly my passion because I've worked with it for so long. And for me, balancing blood sugar really is 95% of everything. And you're so right. If somebody, and when people come to me and I've got this and I've got that, for the most part, I'm like, I'm just not interested right now at the point that I am in my life. But you sent me a message in Messenger and basically said, "Hey, Renee, don't know if you're interested, but I've got this plant-based product that can turn sugar into fiber." And I went looking up. What did you just say? That doesn't happen? Oh, yes, it does. So you invited me into a group and I went in, and really it took me all of about 15 minutes of exploring to go, yeah, I'm very interested. And I'm so glad I did, because the longer that I've been in here and looking and experiencing it myself, I recognize we have something so special. More than that, a product that can just bless so many people. Because I will say this, everybody needs this product. Everybody needs help balancing blood sugar. Not everybody might want it. Everybody might not even recognize the need, but everybody needs it. And so I'm going to today just share a little bit about what happens in our body when we actually eat sugar. Because, I think a lot of people have interesting ideas about what that really is, right? And we hear those words and we hear insulin resistance and blood sugar and prediabetes, but what's actually going on in the body? So I would like to just share, I'll do it really simply so that you kind of get a visual of what's going on.
Are you ready?
Does that sound good?
Are you ready?
All right, great. So if you're a medical professional, please don't, I'm not going to go into great detail, but just great enough that you're going to understand. All right, so when we eat carbohydrates, the carbohydrates are going to break down into a form of sugar or glucose. Okay, now when we say sugar, yes, we're talking cane sugar, but we're also talking about starchy carbs. Anything that's a carb will break down. You'll get glucose. Now, the body's primary source of energy, what energy we need to move in the body, move around in our life and have all these things metabolically happen in the body, is glucose. That's what the brain uses. So that's why when it breaks down into glucose, it's really important to take that glucose that's now in the bloodstream, it's broken down, and we need to get that glucose into all of our gazillions of cells. Okay, now on the outside of all of our cells, we have these little receptor sites. I call it's almost like a lock and key. Okay, so it's locked. Now the pancreas will go and secrete insulin. Okay, insulin is simply a hormone that will go into the bloodstream, attach to the bloodstream, and like a key, go into those receptor sites on your cells, open, let the glucose in, then the cell will close. Okay, now, when everything's working so beautifully, that's no problem. What happens, however, when we start to get a little too much glucose? And now the system is sending out a ton of insulin, too much insulin. And now the insulin's pounding on those cells, and then the cell barely opens. When you have difficulty opening the lock and key, that's called insulin resistance. The cells are resisting that insulin, and you have to keep pushing out more and more and more. Okay, so now we've got all this insulin with the sugar in the bloodstream. The cells are closed. They either have as much as they're going to have, or you're getting resistance. And now we have too much sugar in the blood. Now, when that happens, you can get a lot. I'm not talking about extremes, over time extremes, okay? There can be a lot of negative symptoms. It can really affect all your veins and arteries. Blood pressure can go up. The kidneys will try to excrete some of them, so you can start to really stress out your kidneys. So you can see there's a lot of things. When the kidneys then stop, now we get dehydrated, and now we have that excess thirst. Isn't that why sometimes that excess thirst can be a possible symptom of prediabetes? Okay, so now you start to see how all this works. Now, what's going to happen with the rest of that glucose in insulin? Well, it's going to go into the liver, and it's going to turn into something called glycogen. And when the glycogen stores are filled, what's going to happen is the liver's going to turn that excess sugar and glycogen into triglycerides. So let me ask you, a lot of times I have people say, well, you know, Renee, I've done that fasting glucose and my glucose is fine, my sugar's fine, but my triglycerides are really high. And my doctor's like, oh my gosh, we got to get those triglycerides down. Well, what are triglycerides? Well, the triglycerides then, to get out of the bloodstream, they go and get stored where? In your body's fat cells. Okay, so our body's fat cells are really our body's storage form of energy. That's what it is. So we're all walking around with all this energy stored in our bodies. So then the question becomes, if we want to burn and get rid of or lose some of this body fat, especially around our torso, which is where a lot of it gets stored, how can we adjust our body so that the body starts burning our energy, stored fat, for energy? Well, if you take everything that I just said and go all the way to the root of the root of the root, maybe we need to lower down the amount of glucose that's trying to get into the cells. And when you start there, now you can start lowering down the amount of glucose in the system, etc., so that now when the body needs energy, it needs to tap into those fat cells and burn them for energy. So that's just a little 1, 2, 3. Again, insulin resistance, you now see what's going on. Can you improve insulin resistance? Yes, over time with this new tool and some other lifestyle changes.
Do you want to see, Renee, the graph? Do you want to?
Sure. So let me show you. We have a great graph that we're putting up here. Hopefully you can see it. But if you look over onto the left, what you're going to see is, let's just say you get up in the morning, your blood sugar's pretty low, and then you eat your breakfast, whatever that might be. Maybe you have a piece of fruit, maybe you have some yogurt, some oatmeal, some toast, whatever it is that has some carbs in it. And I'm not differentiating at this point between your quote good and bad carbs. All carbs are going to break down to glucose. And up we get this nice big spike, okay, of blood sugar. Then you get that insulin going, oh my gosh, bring it down. We bring it down. And because now there's been such a rush of insulin, it brings it down almost too far. Now we're down at the bottom. And that's, you guys, you know what that feels like, right? Oh my gosh, I have to eat right now. Shaky, jittery, exhausted, whatever that is. And what's the body yelling for? More carbs, because it knows it needs to bring that blood sugar back up to another place. Thanks, Rhonda. You can drop it. So all day long, we're doing this. Blood sugar goes up, blood sugar crashes down. We eat, blood sugar goes up. And it does this all day long. And we don't realize what we're doing or why we're exhausted at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We don't understand why we just can't, we get brain fog. Why are we jittery? We have why am I so thirsty? Why am I having to go to the bathroom all the time and pee? These are all different symptoms of this. All right, so now all that to say, what might happen when we get a tool, a plant-based, not prescription tool that we can take about 30 minutes to an hour in that window before we're going to eat, especially any of these carbs, that can really help that. Well, that's what our new product does. So you take it and it's encapsulated, so it has time to go all the way down into the stomach, into the gut. It passes through there. And now when you eat, okay, and body turns that carb into the glucose, it's waiting there. It's going to break down the molecules and realign them into that long fiber that's very, very gut healthy. And we're going to talk about fiber in another part of this series because it's so important, but it turns it into fiber. And now you don't get the huge spikes in lower because you're not spiking the blood with all that glucose. So when I saw that there was a product that can do that, that's when I went, oh my gosh, finally a tool that's not forcing the body to do something that it doesn't want to do, right? It's not forcing the body to do anything. It's simply breaking apart the glucose, turning it into a gut healthy fiber, and now allowing that glucose and the blood sugar to stabilize. Now, there you are. You wake up in the morning, right? The blood glucose is low. You take your new fiber, your new transformed product, right? And wait a good 30, 45 minutes. You have your breakfast, 2 an hour, have your breakfast. And now instead of this, you're going to get this. Yeah, it'll go up a little bit. It'll come down. Now, maybe before lunch, you might even be able to wait a little bit longer because you're not starving right away, right? You're going to start reducing that hunger, keeping the energy level. But now it's time to eat. We take it again, right? Wait a little while, back up again. And so now you're leveling it all off and allowing the body to actually do what the body does best. So I hope that helps.
That is so amazing. Oh, so Renee, I have a question for you. As you were talking, I was thinking about this. So, a lot of people look at this as a weight loss product.
Mm-hmm.
But share with, what if I don't need to lose weight? Does this product benefit me?
Absolutely. And I think that's really, really important that people get. This product is not the magic weight loss pill. I wish it was. It's not. Okay. It is a blood sugar balancing tool. So I just kind of explained what's going on. Over time, can a side effect of balancing your blood sugar be weight loss? I'm going to say it maybe a little bit differently. It's going to help you with your fat loss because it's going to allow the body to start to tap in to the fat cells, right? And that's really what we want. So yes, but I look at that as a side effect of balancing the blood sugar. Right? It's also going to lower inflammation. And don't we just know that chronic illness and pain, so much of it is simply caused by systemic inflammation. Balance blood sugar, get that inflammation down. You're going to start feeling so much better in your joints, have much less pain. Um, Energy level, this goes right along with energy level. Energy level is going to get better. Brain fog, memory. We even know that depression and anxiety, there is definitely a blood sugar balancing effect with those things in a positive way. So there's so many different benefits of balancing the blood sugar.
So Renee, I can see a lot of parts. This is part one. I can see a lot of parts coming with this product because of the high impact that it makes on people's lives. And you already mentioned inflammation. And there's so many things connected to sugar in our lives that we can definitely, I would love for you to educate on some different aspects of that. So anything else in closing, Renee?
Just, if you're looking at trying the product, really, I highly recommend, you're not going to know exactly how it's going to affect your body. You'll know that it's going to balance the blood sugar. And if you're thinking, well, I just don't know, I don't know if I have an issue, I think it's a really great idea to test blood sugar. You can get tests at the pharmacy. You can get them on Amazon. Start testing. See what's actually happening with your blood sugar before you eat, a few hours after you eat. Start to get a baseline for yourself. Then when you get the product, eat the same things and start testing again. So when I see people say, oh, I've been on it for a week and nothing's happening, I always like to say, how do you know? Do you really know what's happening in this body? I'm here to tell you, you don't. There's huge worlds going on in here and we have no idea.
Right.
But testing blood sugar doesn't lie. And that's how you're going to know it's working.
I have fibromyalgia, and that'll be a whole another conversation. But here's the one thing that I noticed immediately when I took it the very first day is the fact that I took it about an hour with my glass of water, and I just wasn't that hungry, for one thing. I made better food choices, didn't have to have the dessert. And this product doesn't have any stimulants in it. And, normally when I did in the past, I've done weight loss products, it had a lot of stimulants in it. And you're like jittery and whatever. The product is a completely different feeling.
Yeah.
Like you don't have, like you said, the spikes and the drop. So you have this consistent mood. You have consistent energy. You have consistent, I guess, just a well-being. Like it's so different than anything I've ever taken before. And I personally didn't think I had blood sugar issues, but now that I've been taking this, I'm like, I feel differently.
I know, isn't that wild? And I do see a lot of people saying, I don't have blood sugar issues, or, and I don't need to lose weight. Okay. And it's not a weight. And we don't know. If you're tired in the afternoon, there's a good chance you have blood sugar issues. Now, that might not be your only issue. I mean, we're, so many variables at this point, but blood sugar it's always going to be a part of what's going on. It just is. It's so systemic. It's your fuel for your body. So absolutely. You get brain fog, have a hard time remembering stuff. Yes, there's so much to that. The gut brain and everything, but even gut brain, blood sugar control. You're so right. There's so many places. And again, test. You think you don't have any till you test. And you might be surprised.
And we have all these amazing stories, testimonies coming in about this product, and they vary from a big extreme to a smaller result with people. And so that's been very interesting to see the stories coming in. So we're going to post this recording in different places. If you're not in our testimonial group, you definitely want to ask to be in the testimonial group to see some of the different kinds of stories and, with different people's different, ailments. how they have responded to this product called Transform, by the way, is the name of the product.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Renee. And like I said, this was part 1, and we're going to have some different parts coming to educate about this product and what it can do for you. And then moving forward, we'll probably do some more education around some of our other products in our product line as well. So thanks, Renee. I love working with you. Your expertise has been so enlightening. And thank you so much for spending time with us and letting us know some detailed information about why this product actually works for us. And it makes so much sense now that you've explained it to us. Thanks so much.
You're so welcome. Bye, guys.